there are bands that tour all year round that make a record every year or 2 years. Their impact on music, a lot of them have not been as strong as System of a Down's. You don't need to do a million things to have an impact on people's lives or music itself. You need to do one thing right.
System of a Down frontman, solo artist extraordinaire, author now, Serj Tankian.
Extraordinaire.
Serj, thank you
Thanks,
so much
Chuck.
for hanging tonight, man.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me on again. It's good to see you
Yeah,
again.
absolutely, man. Well, listen, when you were on the show last and we dove into the memoir, you said it's easier to release an album than it is a book. This year, you're doing both.
This year I'm
Yeah,
doing both. Yeah,
yeah.
totally.
We're getting closer and closer to the release of your solo EP, Foundations, out on September 27th. How are you feeling, man?
I'm feeling great. I'm feeling great. I'm happy to be sharing these songs, a lot of which have been in the vaults for a couple of decades, early System days with AF Day and Justice Will Shine On is an old song as well that I've kind of redone. And yeah, so it's very exciting to finally get these songs out there.
When we last spoke, you mentioned the door is always open for system music, but you're one fourth of the band, and it's not any one person's decision. And not surprisingly, everyone wants to know about the future of System of a Down.
Me
Um,
too. We're an old steam engine. Like we do
yeah,
things the same, like it just we meet up at rehearsals, crack some jokes, have some food, play our music, go play a show. Like it, we've known each other for so long. All of this is, so one person's view coming out this way, one person's view coming out that way. There's truth in everything. And it is what it is, I feel very privileged and lucky to have partners like I have that I've been working with for so long. And the idea that everyone has to agree on everything all the time, whether it's touring or recording or anything, is beyond me. I mean, for some people, they say, well, that's what a band is. It's one unit, one thing. No, it's not. No, not in my experience. I've been in it for 30 years and I've met hundreds, if not thousands of other bands, and that's just not how it is, you
yeah,
know? And but it's great to find a compromise in a way of even if we only do what all four of us want to do, and that might be one show a year or two shows a year, or one anything event or non-event or recording or whatever, I'm happy with that, because it is what it is. Like,
yeah.
it's a beautiful thing. Look, there are bands that tour all year round that make a record every year or 2 years. And their impact on music, a lot of them have not been as strong as System of a Down's. You don't need to do a million things to have an impact on people's lives or music itself. You need to do one thing right, you know?
That's it. Yeah, that's it, man. It's a good way to put it. And yeah, it's it's a trope, but quality over quantity. Whatever that quantity might be, or whatever that quality is, that
Exactly.
certainly is true. And there's almost, man, there's almost a sense of not doing all of that just makes what you do that much better, or that much more important, or that much more significant.
Absolutely. We've discussed playing shows and all of that, and I've been very clear. I'm not a huge fan of consistent touring for many, many reasons, and I won't go into that now because I've talked about it before many
Yeah.
times. But it's almost like when we do play just single shows here and there, it makes it so fun, man. It's the fun that was missing in touring for me, just having it be an event. It becomes special, and the funny thing is the value of the band on in terms of touring has grown exponentially the less we've toured. You
Yeah.
know, there's these
Yeah.
bands touring like crazy and they're not headlining and they're tour every like 200 shows a year. And it's like, maybe you should stop for a little bit or whatever. I don't know. I mean, we're not playing the game of supply and demand. We're just doing what we as human beings,
Right.
our own lives, right? And it just turns out that way, the way that it turns out.
Yeah.
Not everyone's happy with the situation of not doing a lot of tours or not recording, obviously, within the band, but it is what it is. But there is something to be said about having things be an event rather than a constant.
Yeah. Well, not being a fan of constant touring, and yeah, you've talked about it, and in your memoir, you talk about it a lot too. Are there plans for solo shows around the release of Foundations?
We've mulled it over. There's so much going on in life right now for me, that it's something that I haven't committed to. Possibly, maybe one or two, maybe an event, but it's not something that has been yet decided.
Hey, it's Chuck, and I'm the host of Loudwire Nights. I'm also a frequent shopper at the Loudwire merch store. And if you like my Aussie parody shirt, we have a lot of other shirts you're going to dig. My personal favorite, I think it's the 80s metal Loudwire shirt. Check it out at loudwiremerch.com.
When System released Protect the Land and Genocidal Humanoids, was Justice Will Shine On a potential candidate to be released by the band at that point?
No, so funny enough, Justice Was Shine On and one of Darren's songs, which I'm trying to remember what the name is, we worked on in 2015. And we were working on, we are sending each other notes, and then we got together in the rehearsal studio and we were jamming them out for potentially releasing them. But, we kind of decided not to at the time. There's a story having to do with that. And it has to do with, we played it for our producer, Rick Rubin, and at the time, and he didn't know if the first thing that we should release from System after being inactive for so many years were these songs. And I think that dissuaded the guys from releasing the two songs, Darren's song and my song. And so I decided to release it on my own.
Yeah. Not to get too deep into that, but was his reasoning because of the content of the songs or something else?
Not so, no, not at all. I don't think it's the content on the songs at all. I just, I think it's anticipation, and I've rarely ever agreed with my friend Rick, because we see a lot of, I see a lot of things in much the same light as he does. And he's amazing at what he does, but it was a time where I disagreed, and I said, no, I think we should release the song, because for me, the band's message has always been as important as the music. And
Yeah.
it was a good time to get that message out. This is before the United States formally recognized the genocide in 2019, with Congress and Joe Biden properly recognizing the genocide. So it was an important time for activism, for the cause. So, but it turned out that, not everyone felt the same way, and that's fine.
Yeah.
That's what happens, 4
Yeah.
votes,
That's right. And
Hey, it's Chuck, and I host Loudwire Nights, a national radio show you can hear all over the country, and you can stream it 24/7 at loudwire.com. You can get a list of all of our stations, how to listen to those stations, everything you need at loudwirenights.com.